What's up, everybody? Griever and Arlene here, and today we are going to be doing I want to say a long-awaited, maybe not for you, but at least for us, cosplay build. And if you've seen the title of the video, we're finally doing my Vault Dweller.
Yay!
So,
and I would like to specify, not today. This is going to be.
Oh yeah, no, this is going to be a long. Yeah, this is depending on how well this video does. It's either going to be a very long build video, or we may do parts. I don't know yet.
We'll see.
We'll see how this flies. But yeah, so I've had in my head that I've wanted to do a Fallout build for a while. I mean, I have some of the props. I actually have the Pip-Boy from the TV show, and been wanting to do something like this, but I didn't want to just do a basic Vault Dweller. Like a lot of people who usually will be, they'll be the Lone Wanderer, they'll be the Sole Survivor, something along those lines. I'm doing someone from Vault 81, which traditionally would not be, one that you would really think of, but the idea behind 81 from Fallout 4, where there's still a functioning vault, but they go out into the wastelands and look for traders and this and that and all that kind of stuff. I like that idea, and especially what I want to do for my idea is I just want to be the guy who got lost. So
it seems a little apt, I'm not gonna lie.
Fair.
But no, it'll be very fun, very you character, and I like how customized you're making it.
Yeah, so it's going to be the idea behind it is, I went out from Vault 81 to find a trade route or, a source of goods for the vault, and I got turned around. I'm wandering now. I plan on actually getting a little map of the Boston area so I can kind of walk around with it and just be like, can you help me? And if I happen to be at a con and I'm doing that, I'm going to have some caps with me. So if that ever actually comes to fruition, if you help me, I give you caps.
I didn't know about the Boston map thing. That's a very apt city to choose.
Yeah, well, that's where Fallout 4 takes place in the Commonwealth, as it is referred to as.
Got it. Sorry, as someone who grew up in the Northeast, Boston's my city. That's.
There you go. Yes, and I know if he's watching this, Cam, I know you'll be excited because you live up there. So
good
there's
stuff.
that.
Yay!
So. The base idea right now is we have to do the vault suit. So I did get a work jumpsuit.
That was going to be too much fabric, and because I don't live ridiculously close to you,
right.
Trying to get all the patterning done and everything was honestly going to cost us so significantly more money and time than just ordering one online.
Right. And also, a lot of the ones you do order online are basically, they're the ones that have Vault 101 or Vault 111 on the back of them already, or Vault 33 now. So I figured it'd be easier to just make our own vault suit.
Yeah.
We're going to also do some light, I don't want to say leather work, but we're going to make kind of makeshift leather armor for it. So the bandolier, maybe a couple of pouches.
You'll see when I take you guys into my workshop, all that stuff.
Yeah,
because it is textile, it comes to me.
Yes. I already have most of the props already done.
Yeah. He's good on that bit. So we already have just the base blue jumpsuit, which is really nice. I'll show that off.
And it is I think it's a pretty damn good blue, too.
It is. It's very vibrant. It's honestly, I think it matches the walls in my office. So we got that. Unfortunately, we went shopping before Joann's had their lovely closing out sale, but we do have at least this beautiful bright yellow fabric to do for the trim, the numbers, and all of that good stuff. So I'm going to be hard at work just making sure that's all cut out. It's attached well, so we're not worried about any fraying seams and things like that. So I'm going to take extra special care of this, don't you worry.
Yeah.
And then we already have a plethora of straps and things in the workshop. So I'm just going to essentially just make sleeves or wraps for them, like you would with like a boot cover and things like that.
Yeah.
So just quick and easy covers for there. So I'll walk you guys through that process when we get to my place. And it comes together pretty quickly after that, because if any cool little pockets or a holster, things like that, we put on afterwards.
Mhm.
And those are pretty easy to kind of, I think, construct after the fact.
Also,
put all the do's and dads.
Yeah, and also within my headcanon of this, since I've been out there lost for quite some time, it's one of those things of I want to add like, weathering and battle damage to it. So like you'll see like, a burn mark on my arm from like a laser pistol or something like that, dirt, grime, that kind of stuff. So it's gonna look really, really good once it's all together. And it will fit the aesthetic behind the mindset of it. So.
It'll be very interesting. But yeah, so for now, just send me home with all of our materials and let's get it started.
There you go.
Several days later.
Alright, so now we are back at my house. I'm going to start working on the blue jumpsuit for James. First thing I did was actually take a seam ripper and rip off the pockets. I know, shocker, you guys know how much I absolutely love pockets, but these guys had to go. They were ruining the aesthetic. So these two were originally on the front chest, and these two were by the actual pockets on his hips. Don't worry, he still does have actual built-in pockets, not just over the top of the jumpsuit itself. So after ripping these off, we also have some now extra fabric if we want to use that later for patchwork. Then I threw both the jumpsuit and the lovely yellow fabric that we're going to put on top into the washing machine, just to make sure that we pre-shrink any fabric that might change when it's actually going through a wash process. I would recommend ironing as a second step to that, but I'm a bit too lazy and I can just stretch the fabric to do the next part, which is actually making the patterns. So here we have the wrist cuff that we patterned out just by using some saran wrap around James's wrist and then putting blue tape over it. Cut it off and gave us a nice template there, which I then transferred to an actual paper just for easier cutting when we get to that step of cutting the fabric. I made a pattern for the collar portion that's going to have that yellow band that then goes into the zipper in the waist. The waistband is just going to be a simple rectangle. I just need to make sure to stretch out the actual bodysuit to make sure that I account for any of the stretch in the material and the elastic as well. And James did confirm that he wanted the more cartoon look, so it's just going to be a straight rectangle, no additional kind of measurements or tweaking needed there. And then for the zipper, again, it'll be a straight rectangle, but we did need to kind of decide where the actual middle was for the zipper because it is covered on the actual jumpsuit itself. So we figured out we do want where the zipper currently lies to be the middle, so I'll show you how I do that when we actually get to the cutting of the fabric. And then the collar, I did have to do that by hand. I literally just took pieces of scrap paper and slowly, manually drew out the sides here. You can see a collar is slightly misleading. If you hold it out one way, it's perfectly straight across, but if you hold it the correct way, how the fabric will actually lie where the fabric is going to, where the yellow fabric is going to go for that trim, it's actually not straight at all. So I made one shoulder, and I can just flip that over to make the second one, and then this is the actual back. And then for the numbers on the full back of the jumpsuit as well as on the collar, we just decided to use a font from that we were able to download online and then use a Cricut to cut those out. That just makes my life significantly easier. Next, we're going to actually cut the fabric. Now, when you cut your fabric, do make sure to add seam allowance. I did not add the seam allowance to my actual pattern pieces, but you can always do, so I just did that afterwards, a 1/4 inch around the whole entire border. You're more than welcome to actually put the seam allowance into the pattern itself. It does save you a lot of headache when it comes to the tracing portion. Now, when it comes to the waistband up here, which is doubles right now, so the waistband and the two zipper pieces, the left and the right, I'll show you again how I pin that later on and how that works there. Because they are just straight rectangles and they are one pieces themselves, I did not need to take into consideration the face of the fabric because it does matter which side you actually do. Again, for the back collar, that didn't have to be considered either because it is symmetrical. But these two pieces, which are the side of the collar, they do in fact need to be swapped. So put the pattern facing down one way, and then you flip it over. That way, the same side of the fabric facing upwards can be matched. You can't really see it on camera. There is a difference between this side and this side. So that's why these are symmetrical. They are the same. If you flip them, like that. For the numbers, you'll see that there's these little notches that I cut out. On the inside are these little fray marks right at the curves. You'll see it just kind of lifts up. So I just cut slits into those. Those are for when you have a curve you're going into a curve. If you're doing an outer curve, you do want to cut out triangles so that when you fold it over to do that seam or to do that hem, there's not going to be a lot of overlap. All right, now that we have all of our pieces cut out, I'm going to now hem them.
Many hours later.
Okay, so now these pieces are all hemmed. Do not do what I did. Iron them first. It will make your life so much easier. You'll see that the 8 is missing and the 2 little tiny numbers are missing. I couldn't do them the way that I had them. I have to recut them out again and then hem them after ironing the creases accordingly. So don't do what I said in the original video. Just iron it. It make your life easier. But I am kind of sick and tired of hemming for a little bit. So I'm going to do that later, and I'm just going to start by at least now tacking these to the actual suit, and you'll see them pinned, and then after that, we're good to go. I did want to mention, so I had this off to the side, and I did not mention it before. So this is the actual cuff that is going to go around James's wrist. I think I already showed you, we made the tape template, then I made the paper template out of that, and here it is cut out of the leather that James wanted, and we just measured out on him where to put the pieces of Velcro so that they just snap together. Yeah, I'm totally doing this off camera. My bad. Anyways, so they Velcro together and they make this lovely little tube to go around his wrist. So that is done. Easiest part, because absolutely no hemming needed to be done. It was just creating a template, cutting it out, and then putting on fasteners. Yay! Something easy. So yeah, so now I'm going to show you guys this pinned to the actual suit. So my workbench currently did not have the space to show this off. I mean, it worked. So it's just pinned in place for right now. Now I just have to sew them on, and next time you see me, we'll have James try it on, and we should be good to go. Yay! Look at it, look at its glory. So the first fitting went very well. We did, however, realize that we needed to address some exposed blue fabric up near his neck. If he did try to close the collar all the way up to the very top above the zipper, James would be essentially suffocating the entire evening. So we take it back to my shop. I just cut up a new piece of fabric so that it covers that exposed blue area, and then sew it on, and we're good to go. And now I'm handing it back to James for the weathering portion.
All right, so we're at the workbench. Figured just give you a little bit of a visual. This is what I'm going to use for the wound. It's a nice dark red, so it'll look like, oh, it's not fresh, but it's not old, or it's old, but not dried. Got my Plasta dip for when I do the wound. And then I got two. I got the chestnut brown and a deep espresso. So a little bit of contrast between dirt and mud. And then to sew up the wound, I have this waxed thread. I want it to actually be noticeable, like it was like a field fix. So I want to use something that is just going to be noticeable. And then just to work on the wounds themselves, I have my trusty old finger slicer, aka box cutter. And then I also have a couple of X-Acto blades and a pair of skizzers. So we're going to get working on this. Like I said, I'm just going to put in like a couple of good like tears right in the collar, like it was like a mall rat just went whoosh. So, and then I'll figure out where the others are before I add the effects to it, or after I do the effects to it. I haven't decided yet, but we'll get started on here. So one thing I want to do is I want to get a little bit of chalk. So this way, yeah, that should be about a claw. So just want to put where they would go, and then I just got to pick a direction, and then no turning back. All right, so I have the start of the claw cuts. Yeah, I'll do my left arm. I'll do my left arm for the burn, and then I will do my right leg or my right side for the stab. So, figure a laser blast be like that. So, I think that should be a decent enough sized hole. Try and make it angled so it looks like it kind of hit me on the side there. Oh. So that's where that's going to go. And for the leg will get like right here, and I actually do have a fair number of knives in the workshop, so I can actually get a decent sized idea of what I would do. What the hell did I do with the chalk? There we are. So I think that should be good, and then there we go. All right, so I am going to start refining these up, and then I will show you what they look like before I apply the effects, and then maybe the after effects, and then we'll go into the final reveal. Okay, so I have decided to pick one of the windiest days of the year to do this. So the damage is there. I put it all the way through the collar, which will explain why like the 81 isn't there. I'm going to add a little bit of red there and a little bit on the inside to show that, oh, I got my neck. Oh God, no. The black is going to go on here, and that's what I'm actually going to do first. So I'm just going to put like a light dusting around here to make it look like kind of a scorch, and then try and get a little bit of the inside as well. Oh no! Really need to weight this thing down properly. But yeah, I have the stab in the leg. Again, like I said, a little noticeable, just slightly noticeable. Maybe I might put like another one, I don't know. But if this looks good, maybe I'll put one in the right arm. But yeah, and then just the overall light dusting of the variations of brown on here. So before this thing falls over again, I will get this all done, and I will show you what it looks like momentarily. So we finished the project.
Yay!
So Vault Dweller is all done. There have been changes since our initial conception.
Yes.
Lots of changes. Lots of compromises.
Look, that
Mainly because the material we had is old stock.
I was about to say, I think I touched base on it in my previous record. This has been a long time coming, so I don't remember what I have and have not filmed. But that leather that has been sitting in this garage with fluctuating temperatures and climate and being stuffed in a drawer and folded in a way that was not great for pleather.
Yeah.
Like I said, I believe I said this, you have to roll it and store it properly. You can't just fold it. We learned. We learned. That's the important thing. So it was just completely unusable, but we were able to find an alternative that was actually significantly less expensive.
Yes.
I hate to say it, sometimes the buying is the better option.
So some of the changes from the original that we had wound up doing was obviously one was the bandolier itself. Truthfully, this actually worked out very well in our favor because while we found this on Amazon by some
grace of God,
this actually does match very well to what the light leather armor is in actual game. We did make a couple of changes. One was we took out the side straps because, I'm a bit of a big boy and they were not going to fit properly. So we took those out. It did come with what I want to say is, I believe, the shoulder pad, but we could not figure out on our lives how the hell it actually went on.
One piece of elastic just does not make sense.
Yeah, and we didn't see like a way of attaching it with like the actual bandolier. So we're like, it works without it. And honestly, it's fine. It's mishmash. Obviously, this is not the leather gauntlet that Arlene did the patterning and cutting out on and all that stuff.
Again, horrible material.
Yeah,
that's been through it. We'll put it that way.
Yeah, unfortunately, it was one of those things of I was all set. I had it on, and it immediately fell off. I'm like, what the hell happened? The Velcro strips that we put on it
ripped off the top layer.
Completely came off of the top layer.
Of the pleather. It literally, it split the, I didn't even call it fabric. Like whatever texture they put on it to make it look pleathery, whatever they put that on top of as the base, just split in two.
Yeah, so
couldn't use that.
Yeah, so couldn't use that. So an alternative is I actually have a set of bracers that I got from the New Jersey Ren Fair a couple of years ago. So I'm like, you know what? This looks like metal armor. It works.
You know what? Sometimes it's okay to be a nerding craft hoarder.
Yes. Yes. And then of course we have my wonderful Pip-Boy that works from the TV show to be my Pip-Boy. And like I said, with the bandolier and the belt, it worked out. And even though we realized after we had gotten it that the pockets were recreated backwards.
Yeah.
So we'll do like a little bit of B-roll and overlay some of the things that we're pointing out to make it a little easier, since it's kind of hard to do it like this. But yeah, the pockets are sewn inside out or right side in when they should have been done inside out.
They sewed it right sides out instead of wrong sides together, so that the seam would be on the inside when you turned it inside out.
Yeah. So with nothing in them, it does give the pockets and the pouches a bit more of a rough edge, and also makes it look like I have stuff in there when I really don't. I do have like a little set of bullets down here that actually work out nice, and if I was decided to use the short hunting rifle as my prop, it would work out like that, even though it wouldn't be usable. But either way, I might actually wind up like going over these with like some paint or something to do so. But I originally got these for Halloween. It's now November, we're recording. This comes out in December at some point. And so by then it will be done, but just for now it's not. But then the weathering to put on this, because I did wear this for Halloween, which was absolutely great. I got a bunch of compliments on it saying, oh, fall. It was great.
It's so nice when a TV show comes out about your favorite thing, so people understand the relevance of everything in pop culture.
Yeah, it worked out really nice. A couple of people were asking like, oh, what vault is it? And I said, oh, it's Vault 81. And they were like, oh, cool, from 4. And I was like, yes! So some people did actually recognize it.
Side note, I was freaking from Hufflepuff class, and everyone thought I was Wednesday. So no one knows, and I would just say, yes, I'm Wednesday. Even though I'm black. Like, yes, it's black undertones, but it's yellow everywhere. But it's okay. Kids
Yeah.
go with what they know. They knew Wednesday. They didn't know Hufflepuff. I'm like,
it's
hey,
fine.
you know what? If I waited a couple more years, when the Harry Potter series on HBO comes out, I'll do it again then.
See,
But
there you
yeah,
go. But
do it.
and I actually was able to do what I had wanted to do back with for when I wear this at a con. Again, my concept is, oh, I wear this, I walk around with a map, be like, I'm from the Commonwealth. Can you help me get back? And if you actually do help me, I will give you a cap for your trouble. And right before we had called it for a night, some gentleman who Sam went trick or treating to was just like, oh, is that your dad across the street? He goes, yeah. He goes, is that Fallout? Yeah. He was like, he yelled out to me, does the pit boy work? And I go, yeah. And I showed it to him. And then I was told, oh, he was sad you didn't come over. So I went over across the street. We talked for a little bit, and then I reached into my pouch, and I'm like, here, thank you for your troubles. And I gave him one of my cola bottle caps.
It's so fun when you can actually execute the weird, fun ideas you have in your brain.
It was. And then he was just like, oh, my God, that's so cool. That's going on my desk at work. So I'm like, yay. So now I did not have this weathered for Halloween. I just recently did the weathering on it. But I did do the weathering that I wanted to, and I did like how it came out.
I
So
like it too.
while you can't see it on camera, again, B-roll, I have the the stab wound in my leg, which I then sewed up with the waxed thread that we had, just so it's actually visible, because that's the whole point of me doing that one. I did some light and dark brown, like misty spray paint over the suit, like here and there, just to like hit a couple of things, mainly on like the arms and like the legs a little bit. For the scorch wound from the laser blast, I think came out really nice. May go over it again with either a heat gun or a light flame
Because
to
I'm
chart.
afraid it's gonna fray if we leave it as is. So again, this is a synthetic material.
Yeah.
So yes, it's flammable. So if you decide to use the lighter technique just to singe the ends, like you would, at least I used to do with my shoelaces and crap back in the day, you don't need to touch the flame to the fabric. It's actually important that you don't touch the flame to the fabric. It's just the emanating heat will singe those ends so that they cannot continue to fray and come apart. So that's why I was thinking, if you don't feel comfortable using a flame,
yes,
a heat gun should be fine. You just have to have a lot of control over it.
Yeah, because when I did actually cut this out, I did do a flame test, and I got a little too close to the flame, and that went up like kindling, and I'm like, oh, that's bad.
Very bad.
So, yeah. Oh, and then the last thing is on the collar, where I had said where we were going to try and do the 81 and it didn't work, rather than it just missing, I did some mole rat scratches and
I
sprayed some
tried. It was so little.
No. It was fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's okay.
They were like an inch tall. I couldn't sew it. I felt so bad.
They're there.
Thank you.
They're there.
Thank you.
But no, it's fine, because then it added more weathering options. So there is that.
At least the 81 on the back came out beautifully. I'm so proud of it. Yeah. I'm just happy it came out straight.
Yes. As opposed to when we first started and it was a little cockeyed.
But we got it there.
But yes, we did get it. And I got to say, I'm like very happy with this. And it's also like the coveralls are light enough to wear. If I wear this at a convention in the summer, I don't think it's going to be that terribly bad, as opposed to when we did my Guardian, where it was long sleeves, pleather cape, foam armor, and also full head covering. I was not prepared for this because that was my first ever cosplay. So, yeah.
Yeah. You guys know me. It's comfort over fashion, always and forever. So that's where I'm at.
Very true.
It came out so well. I'm so proud of it, and it suits you well. I think that's it. That's it.
Yeah. So that is my Vault 81 Wanderer completed.
Because he's no longer a dweller.
Yes, I'm not a dweller. I'm a wanderer. So thank you, everyone, for joining us for this build. We hope you enjoyed it. And as always, if you like the content we put here on the channel, please throw us a like and subscribe. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think of this. And if you're going to be watching season 2 of Fallout, what are you looking forward to in that? Honestly, I'm just looking forward to the fact that they're going to New Vegas, and that's going to be awesome.
It's going to be so much fun. I'm very excited for it.
Yes. And oh, don't forget to click that little bell icon. Otherwise, you may not know when me and Arlene are doing our silliness. And we have stuff planned for 2026. But
I know we say that every single year, but this time we actually do.
Yes.
Like we actually, it was always the sourcing of materials and time. And now I have a more stable life now.
Yes.
We can figure things out. We got this.
Yes.
I'm very excited.
And don't forget, patches. We have patches for sale over with. You can go get your very own Nerfing Lionheart Customs Velcro patch over on containmentcrew.com. Go check them out. Link will be down in the description below. And again, thank you very much for joining us. We will see you guys next time.
Bye.
Later.